So this is the latest solo feature from Ethan Coen, written by him and his partner Trisha Cook. Stars Margaret Qualley as Jamie, who is a very free-thinking, free-loving lesbian with an incredible thick Southern accent, despite them being in the northern part of the country. At the beginning of the movie, Jamie has a breakup with Beanie Feldstein's character Suki, very sad and also comic breakup. She's kicked out of the house, has to find somewhere to go, and she and her friend Marian, played by Geraldine Viswanathan, set off on a road trip. They said that they like she's just been fired. She's going through a breakup. They're like, let's go on a road trip. Let's get out here for a little bit. They decide to take a one-way car ride to Tallahassee, where this car service where you go and deliver a car cross country. Unbeknownst to them, there are some criminal goods in the car that they don't know about, and they've got this car which was actually supposed to go to someone else. It's this kind of mistaken identity situation. And so they're off on a road trip and a road to personal discovery as well. Marian she's very uptight. She's very proper. She doesn't really approve of Margaret Qualley's very she's the opposite, but they both kind of grow to learn about each other and have a lot of fun in this coming of age story, hot road movie caper. It's a lot of fun. Laughed a lot. Unfortunately, not a whole lot of people have gone to seen it. But Zach, what'd you think?
So I actually like Driveway Dolls. Driveway Dolls is a small, intimate indie feature. Let's be clear, it is not feature length. Feature length is traditionally 90 minutes. This movie clocks in at 84. That should tell you all you need to know about the idea of bucking traditional film norms. It is not aimed at wide audiences. It is not aimed at making a 90-minute feature. It is very different and very odd. In its best moments, it's like Raising Arizona. It's like Hudsucker Proxy. It is all the zany, Sam Raimi-esque content I love from the Coen brothers. It is the funnest parts of the Ballad of Buster Scruggs, right? It seems a whole lot like Ethan Coen, the younger of the Coen brothers, is a bit of the zanier, looser guy, whereas Joel Coen, the older, is 2018's The Tragedy of Macbeth, or 2021's The Tragedy of Macbeth, I'm sorry, right? Dry, stark, stiff, whereas Ethan is loose, fun, off the wall. And he produced this script in conjunction with Trisha Cook. I think they did a few short scripts, and this one he wanted to greenlight and put together. He found a couple actresses who were interested in doing it with him, Geraldine Viswanathan and Margaret Qualley. Driveway Dolls. It's like a pet project almost. I think if it could be a short film, it would. And it can't be because it's too big for a short film. But there are parts where you could probably easily have cut it. It could have been like a 65-minute movie. But regardless, I'm excited to talk about it. It reminds me a lot of Lisa Frankenstein. It reminds me a lot of the camp in, oh God, came out in January last year, Megan. It reminds me a little bit of that horror movie. Malignant. I couldn't remember the name of it. It's like a movie that's for people who like going to. Yes, it's a movie for people who like going to see odd features, and I think that's special because what's here is funny and interesting and different and madcap and often feels breakless, but ultimately is a really good 84 minutes in my humble opinion. But it's not for everybody. I'm excited to talk about it. Andy, where do we kick off this road trip?
I wanted to talk about our cast and performances. So we have a really fun cast with Margaret Qualley, Geraldine Viswanathan, Beanie Feldstein, Coleman Domingo, Pedro Pascal, Bill Camp. So it's a fun cast, and it's in that Coen ways when people show up, they're going to give you something special. For some reason, though, Margaret Qualley is the only one doing this outlandish accent, and her character feels like it's from a different movie. It feels like she's from Raising Arizona. Everyone else is essentially kind of playing themselves or the character they're kind of known for, and she's the only one who's doing this performance that's at an 11, and it's everyone else is doing a 7 or an 8, and you're kind of out in left field. So I didn't really care for how extreme her performance was, but everyone else is really good, and there's several fun cameos which I won't ruin right now.
So Qualley grows on me over the course of the feature. Jamie, like Andy said in the intro, is loud and rambunctious and horny all of the time. It's kind of gross how horny she is, but it's an 84-minute feature. You just move past it. It's what her character is. She is doing an accent and she talks really fast. And the first few scenes with her, you're probably not going to understand half her dialogue. But over the course of the movie, you find her to be this one half of this comedy duo, right? Opposite Geraldine Viswanathan, who's playing a very stern, uptight woman, right? Who has not had any loving in a really long time, which is a perfect foil for Jamie, right? Marian is Geraldine Viswanathan's character's name. Marian is just trying to figure it out, and she's at work and she's grumpy and she keeps going to the bar and nobody hits on her, and she's like, it just feels like I'm not going anywhere. I'm spinning my wheels. So when Jamie comes along and says, I got it, let's you and I take a driveway down to Tulsa. She says, what's a driveway? It's a car you can get from rental service and drive from one place to another for free, whatever. That's a good setup for a buddy comedy on the road kind of feature. And I think opposite Geraldine Viswanathan's very stern, very like wide-eyed and aghast at what she's seeing, Marian, like, I think Jamie is good. I think she drives her character. I think she pushes the plot. I think she's funny when she needs to be. But also when Andy told me, dude, Margaret Qualley's way too much, I totally agree. She's standing on the gas pedal in her performance, and everybody else is tempered. And I get it. Like, I think she was directed this way. Like, I think this is what Ethan Coen wanted. She really feels like the lesbian version of Nick Cage's character in Raising Arizona, down to the accent and the messy hair. Like, she's Texan and she's like, I don't know, she's just got her way. But I get it. I totally get it. She is a firecracker in this movie, and you're either going for it or you're not. But additionally, like, there's a lot of really great side characters that I think are worth mentioning. Like, Beanie Feldstein plays Suki, who is Jamie's former girlfriend and also a police officer who doesn't take no shit from nobody, which is really funny, good. Right? Yeah, if you've seen Booksmart, you love Booksmart, I think you're gonna like Driveway Dolls. Joey Slotnick plays one of the goons, and if you don't know who Joey Slotnick is, you can look up a photo, and I think it would come to you. He's great in this movie. Coleman Domingo, right, is also like a henchman. He's goofy and funny and really straight-laced and has terrible hair. Pedro Pascal and Matt Damon both appear in this feature, which is odd but funny that they're in there. Like, I think this movie, and Bill Camp, by the way, that's the other one, plays Curly. Got to mention Curly. How could they forget about Curly? Curly's a lot of fun. Like, all of these characters have these big, imposing silhouettes that I think a good Coen Brothers comedy is so well known for. They're each uniquely their own shape and size and stature. They come from different places, but somehow they get in here and they all possess this brand of like dry humor that I've come to really appreciate from those films, that Coen seems to be able to capture. And it's really refreshing to see again. Like, I haven't seen him make a feature since Ballad of Buster Scruggs in 2018. Like, it's really nice to see like that wit and that snap of dialogue like back on the big screen, if only for a smaller feature like this one. Like, I really enjoyed it. I mean, even down to like some of the slapstick stuff, like crash zooms or whip pans, stuff he would have got from Sam Raimi back when they were hanging out doing Hudsucker Proxy. In the open, there's a great scene when a character approaches Pedro Pascal's very frightened protagonist in the early start. I won't give too much of it away, but Pedro Pascal, he picks up a trash can lid and tries to defend himself in an alley. And this guy just takes it from him feebly and throws the trash can lid behind him. And you see this trash can lid like fly like a frisbee, like 12 feet behind the guy, out of focus, and then like clatter in the background. A very intentional visual gag, like written and storyboarded and very specifically put there for a laugh, in a moment that would otherwise be serious. Driveway Dolls is full of these, but it's also heavy. I think it's heavy content for 84 minutes. Like Andy said, Margaret Qualley, dude, she is on the gas in this movie. Oh my God. Like, her energy is a lot. You got to step to it. Then again, we're two straight boys and this is a movie about lesbians, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, that's definitely something to put disclaimer for. Yes, this is a lesbian coming of age film. We are not lesbians. This is queer cinema, which we are happy to champion, but we're not the target audience. But we still had a good time, which I think is really promising. Yeah, love Coleman Domingo in here. He's so good at doing that, like, calm, threatening, but like stern kind of thing he does in a lot of roles. That's what I mean. Everyone is showing up, like, bringing their A game, and then Margaret Qualley is just doing something else completely. But because it's a fun, goofy movie, I'll give it a pass. But it's she's in like Jared Leto weirdness territory. Yes. If she's not too careful. But overall, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I will say regarding its short stature, regarding its pacing, I think it moves along pretty good. But somehow it does still manage to drag an act two. Believe it or not, there were definitely scenes where I was like, what am I looking at here?" And by the time you finally solve the mystery of what's going on in the car that they've gotten, and kind of where it's headed, it's fine, I guess. And I guess if it had been a 2 hour feature, I would have thought even less of it, right? Like the fact that it knows when to get in and knows when to get out is something I can only respect. Like it comes from a director who clearly understands, hey, this isn't exactly a 2 hour feature, and I'm not going to stretch it to be one. I'm not going to insert scenes that don't need to be there. I'm not going to waste my audience's time. This is a story I believe in. I haven't made a movie in a few years. This is the movie I'm going to make. And in that way, like, I think Ethan Coen makes a lot of really good decisions here. Like, it's tight, man. God, I talk all the time about giving movies, I give movies a hard time all the time for being too long. This one, I'm like, I have to praise it because of its length, right? Like, look at it. It's doing something special that nobody else is doing. And in that way, I think it's really good. Like I said, it reminds me of campy horror, campy comedy, like something really goofy and offbeat. I think that's the audience who's going to be enjoying Driveway Dolls the most. The ones who aren't are going to be the ones who didn't even know it came to theaters, right? The people who had no idea this came and went. It might not even be in your local theater anymore. If you can catch it, maybe you should. But any other thoughts or recommendations, Andy?
No, I think I'm ready.
Andy, would you recommend Driveway Dolls?
I would. It was a lot of fun, and there's definitely sequences that actually are better in the theater. Unfortunately, it hasn't really found an audience, so I think it's going to be available to rent on a streamer fairly soon. But it's a lot of fun. It's funny. There's good performances. It's short. It's 84 minutes, not even the feature length. It's a good time, and like I said, it's queer cinema. It's a coming of age story of multiple lesbian characters that we're happy to champion and talk about.
Yeah, Love is a sleigh ride from hell, and Driveway Dolls is a film for the ages. I think Andy's right. Not only would I recommend it, it might play better on a streamer because that's probably where you're going to end up seeing it. I could totally see this at the top of Netflix for a couple days. Number one in the U.S. Driveway Dolls. You'll see it on that top 10 list they got on that banner down there for a few days, and you'll look and be like, okay, yeah, I know some people on that. Maybe I'll check it out. I think it's a good time. I really do. I like Driveway Dolls. It's not perfect, just like Lisa Frankenstein. It's got issues, for sure. Oh, it's got issues. It's not a great film, but I think it's a good one. And, we don't see those every day on this podcast. But the things we do see are, movies, when we do them every single week here on Off Script Film Reviews. So you can subscribe to Off Script to get more movies, just like the ones we talked about today. Andy, what are we watching next week?
So next week, there's a lot going on next week. The Oscars are next or this Sunday, the 90 something Oscars. We're almost at 100. Will be Sunday night, so Hollywood's biggest night. We'll see what the big winners are. It looks like Oppenheimer is going to sweep a lot of them. We are also going to take a look at All of Us Strangers, which didn't get any Oscar noms, but was talked about that it was a big awards contender. That's now streaming on Hulu, starring Andrew Scott and the other Irish guy that I can't.
Paul Mescal.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I was done.
I gotcha.
So those will be what we're focused on next week. Some FYI releases. The horror movie Imaginary comes out this Friday, March 8th. Kung Fu Panda 4. If you need something to take the kids and the family, that is also coming out. And then also midweek next week. This is what we were hoping to watch next week, but we're gonna have to wait another week. Is Love Lies Bleeding, which is the latest film by Rose Glass and stars Kristen Stewart. So that's some further week out. But next week, All of Us Strangers and Oscars 2024.
Yeah, it's funny. Like Imaginary looks not good in my opinion. I think I'm getting really cold on Blumhouse features just because, like, God, they all start to feel really samey. Kung Fu Panda 4, I hear, is not doing that good.
Yeah. Uninspired.
I'm not a big
Kung Fu. Like the haunted swimming pool. Like, come on.
I saw an article just the other day. Jason Blum was talking about how he really wanted to get a piece of the Friday the 13th franchise. I'm like, please no. God, like, please don't. You guys did okay with those Halloween movies, but those were just produced by you. David Gordon Green put those together. Like, please, God, like, let other people hang on to horror. Do not get a monopoly on this stuff because you guys miss 80% of the time, in my opinion. It's fine. Kung Fu Panda 4 here is doing okay. Love Lies Bleeding reminds me a lot of Kristen Stewart's performance in like American Ultra. I know I haven't seen it, but it's just like the Midwest, haven't washed my hair in a week wearing flannel character. You know what I mean? I'm sure it's more than that in Love Lies Bleeding, but like, boy, I just feel like she is... I was so much more stoked when she was doing Spencer. So hopefully Love Lies Bleeding brings something new to the table. If anything, if you enjoyed the show today, if you like what we're doing here on Off Script, if you want to keep up with Love Lies Bleeding or All of Us Strangers, the Oscars coverage next week, big show with Oscars coverage. The best way to do that is subscribe to Off Script Film Review on your favorite platform, because we're likely already there. You might be listening and or watching us right now on that platform, and if you are, hey, thanks. I appreciate it. You right there, listening and or watching. Yes, you. I appreciate you. Yes, you can subscribe to Off Script on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartMedia, all the usual audio outlets. You can subscribe to Off Script on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and YouTube. Actually, you can follow us in all those places. You can definitely sub on YouTube, though, and there are big things going on that YouTube channel. You got to go check it out. Seriously, I'm not just saying that. I know I say it every week, but I mean it every week. The YouTube channel's coming along so choice. Oh my God, it's good stuff. You got to come check it out. And boy, you can find our website, offscriptfilmreview.com, and you can mail us correspondence directly at mail@offscriptfilmreview.com. Write into the show. We love when people write into the show. We like reading correspondence. We're all about it. Write into the show. Who knows? Tell us what you thought about Dune 2. Tell us what you think about Driveway Dolls. Give us a recommendation, something we haven't seen in a while. Perhaps a constructive bit of criticism, maybe? If you have something that you think is genuinely helpful to your boys here at Off Script, write into the show. We'll totally read it. And, God, I think that's about it. From all of us at Off Script, the home of Bold Cinema, I'm Zach Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Draper.
Thanks for watching.